All right, what's happening, everybody? Just kind of jumping in here quickly. Quick update on a few different things. Not going to get into much detail here. So there was now, Chris just literally sent an update too on Bitcoin, but here's one thing that I do find. I do see the 1, 2 here, but then I got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 count. And when I pulled the fibs, we get past the 1, 6, 1, 8, and then we have a little bit more here to end that wave three. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my initial count actually was exactly what Chris said. But then I guess what happened was I pulled the fib extensions. I started realizing that this actually could be three, and this was the four flat. And then you can actually get five out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to end five. And look where it ends, right at the two level. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. So what might end up happening is as we kind of see how this plays out, um, if this ends up being like a 1, 2, 3, and then we come up to where the Wyckoff distribution was as a forward, and we might get shot down as a five, that might just be A, and we might get a larger ABC down here to the zero point 0.5 level because I'm measuring out the whole thing now. Um, so that's why he's getting 382 because 1 and 2 are like almost exactly the same. So the 382 would be about the same area. So this is just another thought, I guess, because I originally thought this was three, and then we're getting a four, which I actually said that it would pull into the pivot, and then we would blast off above all-time high, and then we blast back down again for two. So this is just another look at this idea. Either way, we're just kind of watching and seeing and being patient because if this ends up being this kind of comes up here, we're going to check counts. Because right now, this does not look like a two done. So this is like a 1, 2. This is not enough to me. So there needs to be some more action here. Now, if this is a done for a four and we still got a five, then what we'll see is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll see it come back down. So that's how that will flip. Okay. So that's kind of my thought here on Bitcoin, but I'm with that original idea with this would be 1, 2, 3, and this was like a four flat of that three. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Um, Pepe. So here's what happened with Pepe, real quickly, because I know I've been really like obviously watching this like a hawk. 15 minute, we missed the trade here and missed all of this, which it was really bothering me honestly, because it was so close for me getting there, and I probably should have just put my stop loss and grabbed it even if it went down a little bit because my stop loss would have been here anyway. I don't know. Sometimes, we don't, we still, we all make mistakes and it is what it is. So we're looking for that return, that pullback. And I said that I like this being a five. It really did what I talked about too. Remember how I was saying that it was about here, it would break that rising wedge. But then if it came back up here to be cautious, well, that's exactly what happened. And I noticed that too. And I was like, oh my gosh, here it goes. So it was a flat, and then now it's breaking down here. But as it's breaking down, I'm like, gosh, this really looks like maybe this wasn't completed. And now that was the five. And now we have the A, B working on the C. So that is very much in the cards for me. 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, let's see, 5. Yeah, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this would be B. So A, B, and then working on the C. And look right here, we're starting to get a lot of like look at the volume kicking up right here below that 0.5 level, right? But if everyone remembers what I was talking about before, is if we broke down through this green and these pivots. By the way, this blue line right here is the hourly pivot. So the hourly pivot and the 15 minute are like next to each other. We slammed through that. Not a fan of that right now. Now, because this was Wyckoff, in my opinion, and we broke down, as we come down, we might come back up and retest it. So I really want to see what happens here. I want to, if this is kind of the bottom, then I'm getting my counts going. I'm looking for a 1-2. Okay. So I want to see, well, it's starting to cook now. Let's see if this cooks back up and does like a V pattern, because I want to show you one more thing. Um, I just had some wedges here and I was like, man, this is looking good. And then it broke through it. And I was like, oh boy. I want to show you something though. This happens quite a bit, and this is where it's really cool. I'm gonna try to draw this. See how it kind of does like this waterfall effect, where it just basically just goes straight down after a minute. That's actually a really good thing to see. And then we should, if this is the case, then we probably will see a quick V, because it's kind of like compressing into this like this pattern like this. Chris actually talks about this a lot too, right? So we might see a V out of that. And that's what I'm really hoping to see. Okay, so I just kind of want to show you that too. Those are always cool to draw out and see them play out. But right now, very, very cautious. But we're hitting that 50 level from the top here, from the, so good. But that hourly pivot breakthrough, I'm going to show you the hourly real quick. Look at that. I'm not a fan of that right now. Like this was a massive candle, a really strong breakdown. Okay, so it's going to need something pretty strong to get back up, or maybe there's more downside. Okay, you can't get too locked in on what you think is going to happen, because in the market you have to be able to adjust, because we're not always right. So if you get locked in on one way only, it's gonna mess you up pretty bad, because you're just gonna consistently keep thinking about that all the time. So you have to adjust your counts. You have to adjust your approach and look. So right now I'm starting to adjust a little bit because of this breakdown. Now if we get back up, then I'm feeling really good, because it's hitting the 5 right now. But it really needs to figure that out soon. We don't want it to wait too long. Or this could be like a way bigger correction. When you're diving into the 15 and the 1 hour, you really should just be obviously you should be trading that, by the way. Hope everyone knows that. If you're trading the 15 minute, stick to the 15 minute, because the 15 minute count might look totally different than the 4 hour or the daily count. It could be like in a totally different path. Okay, and if you don't understand that, maybe we can dive into that later. But anyway, this was definitely like a Wyckoff distribution, which is cool. We had the rise wedge. We had the it really was called out pretty correct. Um, but the breakdown of the pivots, we need to like kind of regain that back above, and then I'm going to be feeling really good, and I'm going to be feeling like, okay, the 1-2 is about done. I'm looking for this right now. I'm looking for a bounce, and I'm looking to count it 5 up, because I go 5 up, 3 back down, and then long. Okay, because I'll be honest with you guys, I thought we were going to hit here and it was going to go up, because that's why I had this wedge, but it didn't. It blasted through. I was like, oh, bummer. Okay, so anywho, XRP, we're hitting that. We finally hit that top of that channel right here. We hit the top of the channel. We got some chop here. Um, I still think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then looks like we got a flat going. This is really looking interesting right now, because it almost looks like a reaccumulation range. So where Pepe was a distribution where it blew out of it, um, XRP is almost looking like a reaccumulation. Okay, because see how it's like. I'll show you what I mean. I'm trying to go fast here today. I really don't want to do an hour, because it's just a lot. I know it's red. It's actually going to be. I'm going to switch it to the Wyckoff. Okay. So, here we got the, 1, 2, we got the top here, and then we kind of have this like kind of channel kind of back, and see how we dip down, and then we're kind of getting a spring here. So That's good because we didn't really break out of that very strong. We actually hit the bottom of the channel, and then we're actually kind of springboarding possibly back up, and we're right at the channel top. So I'm telling you right now, this is why I've been talking about XRP. This might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Making sure I'm in the right spot. A, B, C with a flat. So this could be a go. This could be go time here if you're trying to jump back in. I told you that I had a bunch from back in the day, and I sold it up here, and then it dropped, and I was like, oh, nice, that was the right idea. Well, we're bouncing, so we're probably seeing a buy the dip on a larger time frame. So that's fine. I don't care because what I'm going to do is if I see some entry points, I'll just jump right back in. It's not a big deal to me. And if it has some good potential to keep going up, then we'll make some more money going up again. It's not a big deal. I took big profits over here. I didn't want to lose out, and I'm glad I did that. And now I might jump back in. I really don't know, but really for right now, this might be a reaccumulation, and it's reaccumulation right at a 5 and a 2. I'm sorry, at a top of a 1, wave 1, and a 2. So it's like a reaccumulation of a 1, 2, and that's cool at a top of a larger channel. Okay, top of the larger channel. So what are we seeing here? A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got a possible flat 2. Now the pullback is nothing, so there's still some concern there. But if we pop out of this channel, it could be more go time. It really could be. I mean, we're looking at maybe R1 depending on what happens. But if we're gonna see this come out of the channel, we're gonna probably see a good strong candle coming out of that. That's the sign for sure that okay, we're reversed. It already looks like we're reversing, but that's like a really good true sign. For a long possibility, I like to see how this candle closes. I don't necessarily know if I want to get in before the channel breaks. That seems a little risky to me. You probably could maybe, but there's not really any good wicks that are not all the way till down in this range. I guess that's not too bad, really, but it's like around the 2.25 range, $2.25 maybe, something like that, because there's always this green here. So I'm not trying to get cute. I'm just trying to look for a better entry, more confidence, and it's going to be most likely as we start to move up and break. Then I'm gonna oh boy, because what we might actually get. So if this is a 1, 2, we're going to get a 1, 2, 3, something like that, maybe. So it's not going to be like this massive candle all the way through. It's probably going to be like a 1 break, 2 test, and then go. So there should be some spots there, but it will be fairly quick. Okay, I mean, we're looking at 4 hour. I would, I would probably look at 1 hour. Honestly, I'm just going to continue to look at the 1 hour and see. So we're getting some reaction at resistance right now. We're going to see what happens. The MAs are starting to crisscross, which is kind of cool. We had this like curling red MA 50, so that's kind of nice. And then you can see we were struggling with it. Now we're trying to get back over again. So if we start seeing if this kind of maybe grinds out for a little bit longer and that red MA starts to curl back up, that's a nice sign. RSIs don't look great, but the regular RSI is actually holding the EQ. So this 4 hour candle close, which is not, it doesn't have 3 hours left, so it's still a lot of time left. It's going to be a big one, okay? Because these can curl. These are kind of delayed a little bit. So that is the thought there. AVAX looks like a 5 up, which is really cool. I like that a lot. We got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and it really did a big wick. So we should see some it to kind of come back here soon. But I will tell you this, sometimes with alts, they don't, they like to break the rules a little bit, meaning like they like to keep rolling. So we might not have 5 done yet, maybe till the R1. But I do like that it broke this level. It broke all this resistance here, right? There's a lot of wicks right here, and it's like really attempting to kind of get through that. So I'm not saying go in, but I'm just saying this is obviously a 5 up, or it's close to it, and then we should have a pullback still, a pretty decent sized pullback. But I definitely like AVAX a lot. That's definitely on the radar. I'm not. I think I might just leave that up for now. You guys know the how I am with STEM. Oh, dude, if you guys were watching STEM, I thought this was crazy. We opened up the day with this crazy like price movement. Okay, 15 minutes, not bad. We opened up the day with crazy price movement today, and that actually, and then it went right back down. That's telling me there's some crazy shorts going on or something. I don't know. Look at the. I mean, is it? It's not a coincidence that we were going into a wedge into this lower wick, right? And then we hit the EQ, and we did some crazy bouncing. That's not a coincidence to me. I think there's something happening here, and there's some good like there's some like volume just really spiked right here, and then it got shot down again. So I don't know. This is might be the start of a short squeeze. Okay, and trust me, I would be pumped if that was the case. We're still in this channel. This is 4 hour now. We're still in this channel here, right? Still an ABC. It's still 1-2 technically. So we need to get out of the woods. But if we can get out of this channel and you saw that kind of reaction that we had there, we could actually see a really cool pump out of this, kind of like how these candles are. So see how these big large candles with some volume. So that's awesome. That would be ideal. Okay, so I'm not out of STEM. I'm really not. I'm just waiting on. That was a very interesting candle to show up when it needed to. Okay, that was an interesting candle to show up right there. Tomorrow's Friday. It's the last day of the week. We got some curling on our size. I don't know. Still had hope. Another one I want to pop out to you guys is Target. Okay, TGT Target. Oh, let me show you this real quick. If some of you guys might have been, some of y'all might have been with us when I spoke about Target here. Legitimately, I actually said, this is a good spot. It went long there because of this wedge inside of a wedge. And like the next day, it did this. It was crazy. And I was not expecting it to go like that quickly, but it was right around an earnings call, and it just so happened to time it right. I saw a good count of a 1-2, so I was like, okay, this might be a 3 coming. Well, it popped like crazy, and it kept going. And then I want to say I took some serious profits around here. Anyway, I don't remember exactly how it worked out, but overall, it was a great entry and a great profit in there. So now we got the one here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got this really good pullback now. I've been waiting for this because I thought it was here, but the more I looked at it, it definitely looked like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So, and then we had this sharp uh, run up. Excuse me, this sharp run up. So that was like that's your B. So I thought I was like, whoa, what's going on here? That was a B. So we got a B and then an A, B, C for it to complete wave two. Okay. And then I threw the channel up, and I was like, "Whoa!" Right at the bottom of the channel, and it came right back into the channel. Okay, so that's solid. And then last year, it hits the 705 level, the institution level that Chris talks about. So a lot of good things here on Target actually, and they actually had a really bad earnings call, and it shot it down. But that doesn't scare me at all. Like I'm just looking at this as a chart and thinking, wait a minute, there's something else here though, because everyone was like, oh my gosh, Target's gonna go bank. Look, Target's. I mean, I don't know what you guys. I don't go to Target often, but when you go there, it's packed, right? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is this might be a two done, and what we might be seeing here, right? This could be sooner than later. This might be 1, 2, 3, 4 with a triangle of 5 for a wave one. Okay, right to the pivot, right? So what I'm thinking is there might be a trade coming here soon. So we have the drop down, this massive gap, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, triangle, 4, 5, and then we got A, B, and then we should have like a C coming down back to the triangle. So what I'm looking for is, I'll pull quick fibs. I'm gonna zoom into so y'all can see that. So what I'm looking for is a pullback back. Well, if this is a flat, it might not get the pullback all the way to 5. So here's what we're looking for. if you want to, if you're interested in this, I don't, I can't give you advice, obviously, but if you're interested, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, right? So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, and then we pull back to 4. But if it's a flat, it might not go all the way to 50%, but right around there is fine. 130, $130 to maybe about 128. So I mean, really, we're talking a couple bucks, right? Right in that range, right in this cluster. There is a gap right here. Okay, so it could come all the way back down to 705, which would fill the gap, and the gap is at 125, 126. Okay, so that's not out of the cards, but that would be a very large, because this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, okay. Here's one more other thing. I shouldn't say this. This could have a little bit more up, right? So this isn't a guarantee that the 5 is done here, but it looks very much so, because this looks like a triangle. So and it's at the pivot, and it's also hitting the EQ. So a lot of resistance here. So it kind of makes sense to pull back. So I'm looking for the pullback is what I'm trying to say. If this keeps going up, I'm just like, all right, well, maybe it wasn't done yet. So then we'll look for the pullback. But I want to find the pullback. I don't really care about it keep going up and losing a couple bucks, because I'm ultimately looking for a pullback here. Okay. So that's my thought here. So you can pull fibs on this. This is on the daily, and you can really see this if you're interested in Target. Okay. But what a great two on that. I'll just say this too. If this is a 1-2 overall 1-2, I'm going to show you. Actually, I'm going to show you one more thing. This on the weekly. Okay, right about there. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that, because I had to kind of zoom out. Let me try one more thing here. I'll kind of get the chart a little bit bigger. Maybe this will help. Get rid of this too. Okay, so there's a huge resistance line here in orange. Okay, normally I do green, but I'm doing orange here because I don't want it, it's not a stop sign, but I want it to really pop out to me. That's a really big break point. Okay, and I'm gonna show you one more thing before we keep moving here. Look at this. What do you see there? I got one, like remember I told you it's hard to identify head and shoulders or inverted head and shoulders, but you still want to find like an idea of it or how it kind of shapes like one. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm trading these like head and shoulders, but it sure does kind of interesting. If that orange is the neckline and this is kind of a shoulder look, right, with the distribution, comes down for the head, and then here we go again, back down to like more of a shoulder if that's a 2. You see that what I'm trying to get at is that has that look. And let's look at the monthly here for a sec. I mean, boy, oh, that orange line disappeared. Gosh dang it. Sorry everybody. It's because I don't have it on the month. That's probably why. There we go. I mean, when you look at the month, look, I love monthlies. First of all, you got to look at monthlies once in a while. Look at that, right? So if this is a 1-2, and look where I have 3. So if this is a 1-2, my 3 minimum is $300. Okay, well that sure does look like, if it's going to do that, that this could be actually an inverted head and shoulders or something very similar. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing. Well, if you want to see it, if you want to check like a head and shoulders pattern, you would take the head to the neckline, right about there. Look where that puts us, right above that minimum wave 3. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that are working here. Okay, I'm not saying it's a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders, but sure enough, kind of does look like that when you start using other tools and seeing how I can get there. So this is why I bring up Target. That's a nice run. If 300 is the minimum and it's at 135, that's a double up, right? And that's a wave 3. Wave 4 has a 372, I'm sorry, wave 5 has a 372 minimum expected. So, and look at the taps here. 1, 2, 3, another one, 4. You know, so if this starts to run up here, it's probably going to tap it. But if it breaks through, oh boy. So that's another, that's a, talk about a confidence level. And then they'll probably want to retest it, you know. So if it's like 1, 2, we're going to get this 1, like 2, 3, you know, something like that. I don't know exactly how it's going to pan out, but I don't know. This has got me kind of excited because this looks like an opportunity, and it looks like an opportunity we could take advantage of sooner than later. All right. Um, I didn't. I'm going to show one more thing. I guess I got a lot of things to talk about here on Target, but when this broke out to do wave one, it was right around November. Well, here we are again. You know what I mean? Like looking at a possible breakout around the same time, like around the end of the year. So that's another thing too that I thought interesting. It's a year out, right? So here's like the end of the year here it breaks out. Here's the end of the year. Is it going to break out again? You know, there's a pattern. We talked about patterns. Okay, so just something else to think about. Last I want to talk about is gold. Actually, I don't talk a lot about gold. Well, if you guys in the TWC, you know I talk a lot about gold. Um, so this is interesting. I actually really do have this as a 5 of 3. Okay, but I don't know if it's done. It's hard to count this. I think this is a 4, and I find it interesting that the 382 comes back to the 4. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's a part of me that thought, well, maybe this was 3 of 5, and we still have one more leg up. But look at this 3-day candle. Okay. Now I marked this green level, red level, another green level a long time ago, and it was kind of interesting how it bounced at the green. Now it's come to the red, and now it's finding resistance. So I found that kind of interesting. It does look like an ABC too, like a deep, like an ABC B, like a deep B. Okay. So that is interesting. All right. And then there's a very interesting 3-day candle. All right. And it is going to close in an hour. So that's most likely how that candle is going to close. Um, if this is an A B, then realistically we are going to see it down. And remember how I've been talking about almost on every stream that I feel like we're going to see some downside in the market, possibly at the beginning of the year. Well, one thing about charting is that sometimes you can kind of foresee that in the charts. And I'll tell you, if gold's going to really start to dive and drop, there's going to be something that's happening in the market, in my opinion, because it's been very strong for a very long time. Like gold has been great, right? We called gold like way down here. Honestly, we were getting in gold here, right around. I mean, literally right around here, the beginning of the year. So 1 year in, almost year's over, and it's up here now. But it's really struggling here. Okay, it's starting to really struggle, in my opinion. And we had this really does look like a triangle to me. 4, 1, 2, 3 is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay, so that's why I think this. Now, again, it can be wrong. So I'm not saying this is the end all, and I'm gonna adjust if I am wrong. That's not a big deal. But I will tell you, this is going gold is kind of a slow, it kind of moves slow, and then it could start moving quickly. So this could kind of, if this starts to really struggle here and start to lose back down below the pivot, there's going to be some signs, I think. Okay, some signs there. I will tell you too, also on the RSIs, it's starting to meet some areas where it's kind of struggling on the RSI, especially on regular, where it's meeting that moving average again. So if it gets denied there and starts coming down, that could be an early sign as well. Just something to watch. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I have been looking at this. This definitely hit our wave 3 target a little while ago, but it wasn't that long ago. But we had the target of, I've been saying 2749 or 2747 or whatever it was for a while. And it hit it and it just barely went a little bit above it. So that's always kind of been my end all target for wave 3, minimum expected, of course. So that's that. And last is Riot. I don't really talk a lot about mining stocks, but I do want to bring up something interesting. Okay. So a long time ago, it had this really good, strong wave up, right? And it was a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it took this big correction back. Okay. And this was during May 20. to 21 to March 21. So the bull run of the last bull run, and then so it's obviously rolling with Bitcoin. Okay, I want to show you something though, right? I had to figure out where B's at. I don't remember where Chris's A B C is at. But that's kind of where I have mine. So it finally hit the C. Now I'll tell you something. Here's something interesting. Okay, this is on the weekly still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for one. That looks really good. Okay. What does it do? It goes into this green resistance, right? This support, breakdown, resistance, try to break up, broke down. Comes back to wave one, it gets in that area again, and it gets denied. That's obviously a strong level. There's another one right below here, though. I don't want to miss this. Okay. So if you look at it here, it struggled to get through it, and then it kind of broke through it, like almost like a gap version in a way, because it was a weekly. And then it definitely see it bounced here. So there's two resistance supports here in between each other. So the price was bouncing in these areas, like doesn't know what to do, right? And that was actually the B in a way, for my sake. So and it came out, and then look, it found resistance here. It shot down, and look what it did. Remember, I was telling you about we want to see candles go through the resistance, right? And it did. Like big candle. This is a weekly candle. Big candle went through that. It hit that, and look, another big one went back through it again. So there's something going on in this area where it's hitting it or it's shooting through it, and it continues to do that. Look, it shoots and then it kind of wicks into it and holds up, but then hits resistance here. I'm telling you, there's two resistant areas, support areas in this area. Okay, it's right here at the first one's at between $14, like 14.20, and so like 14 and 13.50, and this other one is around 18 and 19 bucks area. Okay, so that's really interesting. But one more time, it goes through it, another big candle, another big candle. Okay, so here we go again, and I want to show you. This is what I really want to point out. So this was one. Okay, look. So we got this big wave down and big wave up, and then it kind of does this action right here. And it was kind of hard to count this, to be honest with you. So but it almost could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and if that's 5 down, this actually, which would just drive everyone nuts. This might not be 2 yet. This might only be what I'm trying to say is this might only be A, and this is B. Because look what we're doing here: tap, tap, tap. We're coming up to it, and we got denied again, and we're tapping it again. All right. Ultimately, if this is a big long A or WXY or some kind of craziness going on, and this is only B, we could actually still have a C to finish wave two. Okay. And a C could just come, and I'll tell you right now, C could literally just be A, B, C, D, E, or whatever. Not A, B, C, D, E, but 1, 2, 3, whatever. And it just could barely come past down this two and hit the 705 at this S1 or around this level, around $5. $5. Okay. I'm telling you. So this is getting denied right here. And it looked like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, what I'm trying to say is that we want to watch this, because if this is only a B possibly, then we might just keep this drawing down. And then again, this is the end of the year. This is what I'm also saying, where there might be more of a downfall to start the year, but ultimately trying to, finding some really good areas to buy ultimately. So it kind of leads me into thinking that maybe two is not done here. Maybe it is. Okay, maybe it is. But I don't know if I'm there yet because of these resistance levels. Okay, pivots are going to change at the beginning of the year for the week, the weekly pivots. Okay, so this weekly pivot is obviously strong, but it's really this resistance and support level that's really strong. Okay, because that weekly pivot's going to change. So just something to think about. I told you, I think there's one more run. Christmas time run or something, and then into the maybe in the end of the year and beginning. I don't know time frames exactly, and this is just my opinion, but it is how I feel about this right now. So anyway, just something to think about there with Riot. Um, that's it. That's all I got. So hopefully this helps you everyone out here. Let's see what we got back here on Bitcoin. The 1 hour. So A, B, C, D. See, so if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, if this gets denied to a 5, this is probably only A, and it probably looks more and more like this is maybe 5 up, and we're getting a little bit bigger correction. So just a heads up, the 0.5 level is 98,338 or 335. So 98.3 basically, 98.3K. Okay, that would be the 5 level. So what we again, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, if this ends up going down below this, and even if it hits the pivot, that's actually 5 waves down, then we probably should see a 1, 2, 3 for a B, probably kind of back towards this. Who knows? Maybe it might come to this mid range of this range, the EQ, or maybe even tap this green again. That would be interesting, right? So if this were to break down here like that one more time, it would probably go like something like this to do an A, B, C, B, and then it would break down one more time to drive everybody nuts to get down to that 50. Okay, so something kind of like that. So it'd be like an A, B, C, and then it should be like let's go long in that area. Now I don't know when that's going to happen. We still have a lot of time in this weekly. We have a lot of time in this week for the hourly pivots. So the pivots could still be up when it does this. So we would like to see it snap. Maybe if it snaps below the pivot, it snaps back up again. I don't know. We'll get to that one if it happens. So I'm watching this right now. I'm not like doing anything crazy right now. I'm just kind of watching it. Um, the idea that Chris had is like if this was 3 and this was an ABC, like this is like a 1, 2. So we should see something like we should see a bounce and not make a lower low here, and then we would kind of come up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe break an all-time high. Now it would be 5, and then we get down. So either way, it's coming down because this would be a 5 of the wave 1 right here. This green I'm showing you. So it's still going to have to come down again. And Chris mentioned that's where we want to go long, and it might come into this cluster. I don't know, but we're going to just watch and see. This is what's cool is that we're just being patient, but it's getting close. Okay, so it's getting really close. So there's some good things possibly to be looking forward to. All right. Anyway, hope you all take care. Enjoy your day. Trade safe. Set stop losses. We control what we lose, right? We can control what we lose. So anyway, all right. See you guys.